With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details. With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Hello and welcome to the Wrap Podcast, the place for fans of Welsh regional rugby to join together, discuss last week's game, chat about the important issues, and more importantly, hurl abuse at each other's teams. You can contact the show by email at welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. So let's get on with it, shall we? Okay, so welcome to this week's edition of the Welsh Regional Rugby Podcast, or WRAP, and I am delighted to let everyone know that we actually have somebody from the Dragons region on the show this evening. So, Jamie, big hello to Jamie. How are you, Jamie?
I'm very well, thank you. Can I just say, popular to contrary belief, there are Dragons fans out there. I know you've struggled to find them, but we are out there. There's not many of us, but we are available. We are
coming out the woodwork now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've won a game now, so we put ourselves about.
They've all been hiding under blankets for the last 500 days, waiting for somebody to go, "You've won," and now all of a sudden, hey, we can hold our head up. But no, it's good to have four of us on the show. So, three of us from a team that came second on the weekend, and then Carwyn. So, you know, in theory, we should be sitting there going, Carwyn, you know, Ospreys did well, but you can fuck off if you think that's happening, mate, because that's just not going to happen tonight.
I understand. You know, even though you were giving out the yellow for Gareth Anscombe a couple of weeks ago, no, it's fine. Yeah.
So let us start as always, then, gents, with our drink of the week. So this is just to prove that we're not proper journalists. If anyone was in any doubt that we're not proper journalists, this is, you'd never catch a journalist having a pint while they were doing a podcast. So mine this week is the next one along the shelf in the shop, and mine is Jemima's Pitchfork from Glamorgan Brewery, so, which is weird because Jemima, it's got a picture of Fishguard Harbour on there, and like Jemima, what's her name, with a big pitchfork, but it's from Glamorgan Brewery. So, yeah, and it's quite a nice ale. It's a light ale again, so I'm sorted. So,
yes,
Jamie, what have you got, my friend? Have you got a beer or something?
I have got an alcoholic drink. Now, I don't normally drink on a school night, but I have got Heineken Silver, which is it's like Heineken, but obviously the alcohol volume is less. It's only 4%, but it's actually all right. It's not bad.
Well, they can take in Newport, see?
Yeah, that's it. It's even our Carlin.
Yeah.
Rhys, what have you got, my friend?
I've been into my wife's wine rack and got a New Zealand Pinot Grigio. She's just come back. Just banged on the window now. Help me out, like,
That's almost posh, that is, mate. It's not
Yeah, I
his
know.
card
Yeah.
or nothing.
Well, it's clearly not mine, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Carwyn, what about you, mate? What's your beer of the week?
Well, look, you said we're not proper reporters, so I'm sat here with a cup of tea. So,
Oh my God! I tell you what, you can tell he's on the winning side. He doesn't need anything to kind of take the edge off it. That's not fair. All right, let's start with last week's game. What did we think generally of last week's games, boys? What was your general feel of the whole weekend?
Feeling of despair. Yeah, but some great rugby played as well. I got from all sides, including Cardiff. Would you believe?
Yeah. I think, hang on a second, Carwyn's crashed and he's still talking. Yeah, I might leave this bit in. Carwyn going, oh, bollocks.
I completely crashed. It's what happens when you rig a Dragon supporter on it goes on downhills.
It's all gone to fuck.
Right.
So, anyway, what did we think about last weekend's games then, gents? What do we think of the general standard of play over the weekend?
Well, there's more tries compared to last season. I think there's a good standard of play, and you can't keep on blaming the ref every week. You've got to say the Scarlets were shit. The defense was fucking awful.
Fuck off, because that ref. We'll
No,
get to
no,
that
sorry,
ref
no,
after,
no,
but that
no.
ref was a fucking disgrace. Go on.
At the outside
Sorry,
half, Bennett's on outside half. He
cracking, wasn't he?
Didn't he? Yeah. And you can say about the ref, but you can only follow off so many tackles, isn't it? I mean, they don't get me wrong. People in glass houses, but yeah. Oh my God, the tackling was appalling in past this guy, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it the tackling is appalling, or is it that actually the attackers are better than where we have been in the past? Because when I'm looking at it, there's more people getting bounced, there's more people running into space, the handling is better. Do you know what I mean? You can look at it
from Benetton, we were cracking.
No, I think generally all round. I thought Benetton's intensity. Yeah. I thought the intensity of Benetton was just like 5 notches above where the Scarlets were, but just some of the attacking play generally from everybody all round, I thought was quite good. I thought there was even, Cardiff, where it was pissing down and everyone was trying to make the excuse about, the ball is slippy and this, that, the other, and because they played on plastic. But
now look,
the effort was there.
I think
the first half, we were all right. Sorry, go on, Darren.
No, go on, Rhys.
The first half, but even in the first half, I think we were 13-3 up at one point, and the try from both of them was top drawer. It was great, a great build up and stuff like that. And we kept trying different things, but some of the different things we were trying, they didn't work, so we tried them again and again and again. I mean, like the crossfield kicks to Cabango.
Yeah.
So it didn't work once, so we did it again and did it again. And in the end, the Lions were just laying in wait for it, doing it. So,
that Cardiff weren't offering much an attack, and like I said, the commentators were saying they got 10 to 15 points here in the bag if they utilised the ball well, and they just didn't. I think they were lost in attack. And
massive.
What
typified it all for me was Priestland in the first 30 seconds having his kick charged down from the kickoff.
Yeah.
And he's so off the pace, isn't he, Priestland, at the moment?
Well, that's why we gave him to you, mate. That's why we got rid of him to Bath. and then Bath went, we're bottom of the Premiership. Where can he go now? We'll send him to Cardiff. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
It's.
I just mentioned Jared Evans quickly. Oh, go on.
Go on, James.
No, go on. You go first. I was just going to...
Right, hang on. Right, Jamie, you go.
But I just wanted to mention about Jared Evans, because I'm a big fan of Jared Evans. I think he's a very talented fly half. Yeah. But I think on Friday night, there's always been question marks about his game management. And I think we saw on Friday night why he's not quite nailed down a spot in our Wales squad, because he just didn't manage the conditions well at all. And it was difficult conditions, in fairness. I couldn't understand. I know Rhys touched on it. Why did he keep cross-kicking? I just couldn't understand it, because Van der Merwe just kept catching it every time. And I couldn't understand why he kept doing it. And he got to one point where he was ignoring overlaps. And, just for kicking. And I just thought that was unforgivable. I think with Cardiff lost that game, I actually think they lost in the first half because they were only 3 points clear. Now, if they were 10, 13 points clear, I think they're going to win that game because they had the wind behind them. They should have pulled away.
Yeah, you said there was 1 point
never...
there. There was 1 point there, sorry, Jane, like you mentioned about the overlaps. I think they had a 4-on-2.
Yeah.
And that's where he kicked it, took a bang and go there.
You know, Cardiff playing into the wind, they needed at least a 10-point buffer, I think. And when it was only 3 points and Lions scored, you kind of knew that it was going to be hard for Cardiff and Lions were going to just come back into it because 3 points was never going to be enough. And credit to the Lions. You know, I've seen a few comments from Cardiff fans who are quite salty saying, Lions off and nothing. And Cardiff gave them, easy ins. But actually, I thought Lions were very, very good second half. They used their physicality and Cardiff just didn't manage the conditions. And as much as I like Jared Evans, I just don't think he controlled that game very well at all.
I agree. I agree with everything you said. And the Lions, what they offered was basic rugby done properly, didn't they? So they won all their line-outs. They went to their strengths, which is the rolling maul. And they executed the rolling maul very well. Do you mean? And stuff like that. One of the tries when they all come flooding in and stuff like that. They knew when to time that. Their scrum, they had that the number 12. I can't remember his name now. Like I should. Really
I know you. Yeah.
These.
I know the one. Yeah.
The number 12 for the Lions, sort of thing. He was just running like straight a lot, like on crash balls. He wasn't massive either, like and stuff like that. But he was effective. He was hitting in between shoulders, and Jimmy, they just did very simple things very well. And I think, and in the end, we just started to fall away. And you can talk about it being wet, but the Lions didn't drop the ball, isn't it? And in the past week, you can't use that as a real big excuse in today's game.
I also think, though, Cardiff, they do have a problem with their front five, don't they? I mean, it's never been properly addressed, but they're just not big enough. They're not powerful enough. I mean, Domachevsky came on and he just gave away a load of penalties. Belcher isn't really good enough for that level. So I think Cardiff,
I've always thought this about all the Welsh regions. I've never thought any of our packs are big enough to when you compare them to other teams, like in the English Premiership or whatever, or France. We just look a lot smaller, completely smaller.
We've signed that Timani, and he's going to be a great player for us because that's what we've been wanting for season upon season.
Yeah.
But the two things we really want is a big meaty tight head and a big beast of a second row. And I think we've got the big beast of a second row now. So I thought in the first
a unit
with Timani was Seb Davis sort of thing, allowed Seb to be his, the extra flanker role that he can play.
What does a meaty prop look like then? What's the difference between a meaty prop and a big fat prop?
Not like the ones we got, Cardiff produce year on year. We got some good solid players, but nothing that can set the world alight, isn't it? I don't think Wales really produces many.
Like you say, that's when you look at. When you put all of those little bits together, there were some of the basics that were not done right. Some of the kicks were even when you're going with the wind, the kicks were short and you were constantly letting them have 10, 15 meters. The defense was actually not that bad, apart from the fact that when it went wrong, there was no second line of defense. Once they were through that first line, it was like lovely jubbly, we're in for a run here, boys. Do you know what I mean? And then they were taking 15, 20 meters. And I stopped counting the amount of opportunities that Cardiff squandered after I got to 10. And like you say, there were some of them were just so blatant. And you're like, it's not even basic stuff. This is, under 15s. This is the stuff you coach at a much, much lower level. And that for me was the disappointing bit because they'd done all the hard work. They'd sucked the defenders in. They'd created the space. They'd run at the space. You just needed to go. I don't know if it's a player sitting deeper. I don't know if it's just holding letting the pass go sooner. But something there wasn't clicking. It was like they were on a bonus for how many tries they could cock up. It was,
and we could have won it at the end. That's the thing. We could have actually won it at the end, and we were putting players, we were popping up in space, and every one of them dropped the ball. Oh my God.
I think the difference was on the night they were clinical, weren't they? The Lions were clinical. Okay, they didn't have, they had one opportunity in the first half. They took it. Cardiff had how many? Too many, and they didn't take them. And that's what it comes down to in the end, They took their chances. They were clinical. And Cardiff, I'm afraid, just didn't manage the conditions, and they just didn't take their chances. Although I will say it was really good to see Shane Lewis-Hughes back. I'm a big fan of his, and I'm glad he's back.
He played well. When he took his try, he was the only one that was pumped up. I was more frustrated with the sort of lack of appetite with some of the Cardiff players. Even now I'm waiting for my call up at 44. Like, do you know?
Been polishing the boots.
I'm available, she pulled the shirt on. I used to be killed for it, and stuff like that. I didn't think some of the players really had that appetite to apart from players like Botham and Shane.
They had the appetite in the Grange pub after, didn't they, apparently?
Yes.
Well, I heard a rumour. that what happened in the pub was somebody went and got some eggs and they all tried to do some handling practice, and that's why all the eggs ended up on the floor, because they still couldn't catch for shit an hour after the game.
Apparently it's quite like a horrible story, isn't it? Apparently they were asked to leave for being a bit rowdy, and then they threatened the bar staff with violence, and then when they were eventually left, they just went over to the shop. I got the eggs and started doing that, and that's got to be, Jimmy, again, back to play for the shirt, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But is that something wrong?
Send them back on the Premiership.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a culture issue, isn't it? There's been
massively.
question marks, and people have been questioning the culture. And Di Young's under a lot of pressure. You talk about the desire of the players. It does appear from the outside looking in that there is a culture issue at Cardiff.
Massive. Yeah, massively. I don't know how to fix it or anything like that,
But that's it, and it's not a quick thing. When you build a culture, that does come from the very top. And it comes from what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And you set your stall out every single day and you go, and if somebody steps out of line, no matter what it is, they got to be dealt with. And particularly in rugby, rugby is a game built on self-discipline. And
values.
But if you're not in a position where you can discipline yourself and maintain those values, no matter how many beers you've had. We've all been there. We've all been uptown and we've had far too many. But then one of your mates is there going like mate, you got the tie on. You got the club tie on. Yeah, so calm it, because we don't want to get the club into trouble. It's not like these guys are playing second team for Tenby United. Do you know what I mean? These guys,
professional players, they're professional players, and when the team aren't playing well, and you got this on top of it, it just adds even more fans' frustration, doesn't it? When the team are playing like shit on the field, and then they're acting like this in public, then you've just got to question what is going on at Cardiff Rugby at the moment. I think I've seen a lot of Cardiff supporters quite worried and quite frustrated about what's happening there, and.
Well, there's a similar thing a few years ago when Gavin Ensign was there, and they were up in Scotland.
Oh, the ice cubes.
On the
ice cubes on the plane.
Yes, right. Or whatever,
Yeah, I remember that.
But you're right, Lee. I think it doesn't matter who you are on that team. You're responsible for the jersey. You're responsible for towards the fans. And if you're captain or if you're the ball boy, whatever, you're out of line. You're gone.
It's interesting you say about the ball boy, because one of the, I think it's one of the Sharks players. Who did you boys play last week? You played the Lions last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And apparently there was an incident with a ball boy where one of the Lions players, where the ball boy goes to offer him the ball, and he knocks the ball out of the way and said, "Get me a better ball," or something like that. Yeah, it's all rumours and this, that, and the other. So he got removed from the team. He got the director of coaching, took him to one side and said, we're in another stadium. You've got an 11-year-old kid offering you a ball. I think it was in the warm-up or something. And you're treating him like that. That's not the values that we have within this side.
Fair play.
And he's booted. He got booted for the Cardiff game. So, that's how you build discipline and how you get your players to understand that actually, we're not messing around here, boys. This is,
and they're in a privileged position, at the end of the day.
Yeah,
massively.
Yeah.
Do you mean like the kids that go down here and stuff like that? Like, they're trying to be sold as like a family event, isn't it? And the stuff in the house park on the way in and what have you, like, and just to have that in the news, it's just not helpful, is it?
No, not at all.
So let's leave that one there and let's move on to something equally as frustrating. And I'm gonna say it's the Benetton game, but it's not. It's the fucking Benetton game, because that's how I've been referring to it over the last couple of days. Because what did you guys make of that performance against Benetton? We can't turn around and say Benetton are a crap side or any of that anymore.
No,
they're a decent
not at all.
side.
They play well in Europe, as well.
Yeah.
So there's no shame in losing to Benetton, but fucking Benetton. I mean, good Lord. It was, really.
You were playing out in Italy as well, and like I say, Benetton shouldn't be taken for granted. I thought, having watched the Scarlets, I thought their defence wasn't up to it. I thought they played a bit too loosely at times. I thought, Benetton were on the ball. They wanted it more.
Slower. The Scarlets were slower to the ball, I thought. Slower to the ball.
Yeah.
Benetton wanted it, really wanted it.
Yeah. Well, you look at the intensity that Scarlets played against Ospreys and Ulster, and that's why I was quite confident going into this game. I thought, we take those two games and we put it against Benetton, we got this sorted. We were playing for, 70, 80 minutes in those games. We were hitting rucks, we were turning the ball over, we were stopping stuff, we were creative. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just like we forgot everything. We just went out there and we went, last season was a bit of a laugh. We'll go back to that. And it was heartbreaking. Just sitting there watching a game and going, we're better than this. Really.
I do think with the Scarlets, though, their defence is still a major problem, because last year you brought in Hugh Hogan from Leinster, didn't you? And that appointment just didn't work. Your defence was passive. I think you brought in Garth Williams now, haven't you, from the Wales setup? It's clear to me that it's still a lot of work to be done on defence. When you compare Scarlets 2-3 years ago, their defence was usually solid, but lately, it seems to be an ongoing problem. I think that's one of their biggest downfalls, actually. I just don't think their defence, attack-wise, I think it's fine, but I just think their defence is too passive. And against good teams, you are going to be found out.
See, my theory is that due to the financial crisis and COVID and all of this, we took all of our tackle bags. We took all of our tackle bags down the car boot sale one weekend, and and that's how we could afford Fafita, because we sold everything that helped us tackle in order to bring in Fafita. This is my theory, and I'm sticking to it. It wasn't a great, right. So I know we weren't great at tackling, and I know you can't blame the referee for everything. But 3 weeks on the bounce now, we've had refereeing decisions. No, not refereeing decisions, TMO decisions go against us. I can understand the referee missing something. I can get that, because he's only got one set of eyes. He can only look in one direction. He can only see what he can see. The TMO has got all these different camera angles, and no matter which camera angle you look at, that pass for them to score the try, that pass was about 3 foot forward. It wasn't a close thing. It was a mile forward. And then the bit where he yellow carded Combier, I mean, the guy jumps into him. Yes, he does go up onto his shoulder and he does land awkwardly, but he kind of jumped in. So, that's 50-50. Either way, that pass was forward. And you just say, how can you not see that from, the one bit, there were two bits for me that let the URC down. One is the referees, two is the marketing. Marketing is easy to solve. How you improve that standard of refereeing baffles me. Don't get
It's
me
been
wrong.
a problem for years, though, isn't it? The refereeing. Let's be honest now, because we can go all the way back to the Magnus League, to the Rabo League, get this Pro 10, Pro 12, whatever. It's been a problem for years and years. I don't know why we can't get competent officials in this league, and it really lets the URC down, because you get people saying, "Oh, URC is shit," and all this nonsense, right? But I don't think it's as shit as what everyone is saying. But there are certain things that let the league down. And I do agree with the marketing is one of them. And I also think the officiating constantly lets this league down, because every week we're talking about a decision, and we're constantly talking about a decision that's affected our teams, and it's not good enough. And they really need to do something about it. I know they've set up a new team, haven't they? I think Nigel Owens is part of like an independent team, and they got to do something, because, I just want to talk about rugby and not decisions, but there's some really bad officiating in this league. We saw what happened with Josh Adams, up in Glasgow. I mean, why was that not a red card? That was an absolute disgrace. It was a clear red. And it's just decisions like that. They're just not good enough.
See, told you should.
I think there's a lot of pressure. I think there's a lot of pressure on the referees. They've got two sets of eyes, that's it. And I think rather than going to the TMO all the time, I think the touch judges need to be a bit more switched on. I agree with that. Nine times out of 10, when there's a ruck or a more going on, a lot of it's right down that 15-yard channel. They need to be seeing what's going on there. So I think they need to take greater responsibility. And these are qualified refs as well. And it shouldn't always be, all right, let's go to TMO time off, because that's making the fans are losing interest by seeing all this. I mean, some of the games have been lasting for too long. Yeah, absolutely.
But then you've got the flip side of it. You've got the flip side of that, where that's potentially 3 games now where the Scarlets have had a wrong decision against them, and people are calling for Dwayne Peel's head. Do you know what I mean? That's the way Welsh rugby is. Where
I can say I think Cardiff are quite lucky to get rid of him, to be honest.
Oh, he's off again. He hadn't even had a beer.
So I think he was going to be our attacks coach, and I'd love to have happened there as that, but not like a head coach.
Yeah. But like you said, Jim, we're sitting there talking about, there were a couple of decisions in a Cardiff game that were, Toby Falatau got carded, and I'm like, how the hell on earth did he get carded from there? Because, if anything, they were kind of dragging that, and they lost their footing, and that's what dragged it down. I can't see how, but when you make those big decisions and you start dishing out cards, say it's quite a big effect that it has. And I'm hoping that something will change. I'm hoping that you've got 4 reasonably qualified and experienced referees that should be able to sort something out, but it's not going to be a quick fix. So
but is this just a URC problem? Because if you look at the Gallagher Premiership in England and the top 14, the standard officiating seems a lot better, doesn't it? Especially in England, they don't keep going on about these poor referees. It seems to be URC that's a real big problem. Like I said, this has been going on for years and years, and it's not good enough, and it really lets the league down, in my opinion. So I am hoping the standard improves soon, because we can't keep talking about these decisions. Like you said, it does affect outcomes, and people's jobs are at risk. Like you said, Dwayne Peel, he's under pressure because decisions don't go your way. You're not playing well. So it does have a knock-on effect, and the URC really does need to get a grip with it, and maybe one day they will, but not under my breath.
And as well, it's about the product as well, isn't it? Of we're trying to sell this product, and I agree with you, Jimmy, that the URC that is not, especially since the big South African sides have joined, is not a bad league, isn't it? And I've seen some really good rugby being played, but when you get that stop-starty nature to it, that the refs are bringing to it as well, sort of thing. I've got 2 daughters now, and both prefer netball and football. Yeah, they've been brought up. My wife is Kiwi. They've been brought up around rugby since they stuff like that. Yeah. But and my youngest still wants to come down to the Arms Park with me, but she's almost indifferent and stuff like that. She comes down because Dad gets nice drinks and a bit of food and chocolate and stuff like that, as opposed to getting excited. And the couple of games I've taken her to where I remember, I mentioned Leinster last season, but I remember one of Hollow Hollow's first seasons when we put 30 points on Munster at the Arms Park, like, and just carved them up, like, and like she was taken with that. We were on the pitch afterwards, and we met the players and stuff like that, and that's what you want, isn't it? That's sort of
absolutely.
Do you mean? And
Absolutely.
we're not getting that, and part of the problem is the officiating, isn't it?
It's just so boring, isn't it? Like, social media is completely dominated now by referee decisions. There's always GIFs, isn't there, and videos of incidents. You just think, why can't we just talk about the rugby, But there are some decisions. Like I said, I go back to that Josh Adams running Glasgow. That was unforgivable. That should have been a straight red. Contact to the head equals red, and he should have gone. And it's just, but it's bad decisions. Like, referees will make mistakes. Of course they will. They're human. But when it's really bad decisions like that, they've got to be, scrutinised. Referees should be scrutinised in the same way as players. It was awful. It was awful.
So this weekend, then, we've got Scarlets and Cardiff. I've got my ticket already.
2 worst regions.
Might be another draw.
Well, mediocre derby.
See, I don't think it. I think we're both trying to play in attack. We're both trying to play expansive games. Now, Cardiff were
in defence. It could be quite a few tries.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like Cardiff were maybe 3 or 4 passes, or 3 or 4 occasions where one pass would have put a player in. Scarlets, we had 2 tries disallowed against Ospreys. That would have put us on a bonus point against them. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like neither side can attack. It is a bit like neither side can defend. So it might be a 50-odd points each sort of a game. But I just wondered how you market that game for the weekend. How
I'll just give you an example. It's like, so when I was living in Dublin, match day, you could walk anywhere from South County Dublin, and there would be Leinster flags lining the streets. And this is like from the Friday night, they're everywhere. All the buses that go through the city, Leinster, all the different players on the bus, and it was everywhere. And people turned up, and they had a full house every week. And that's a 15,000-seater stadium, or just over. Yeah. And it is absolutely rammed. And it's everywhere. It's on the TV, pubs over there in the south side of the city. There's rugby pub. That's it. It's rugby. Leinster, whatever. They'll watch Munster, whatever. Connaught, Ulster. But it is a rugby pub. And everything is rugby, rugby, rugby. Whereas it's not even the top sports in Ireland. That's GAA and all the amateur sports. But it's crazy. Like, you walk down Swansea on a match day or Cardiff, you don't see the flags in the streets. You don't see them like down Pontcanno or down the road
outside.
Yeah, exactly. There's no warning. Like, oh, hang on, what's happening here today? Let's get in and have a look.
They compete with the football, isn't it? So it's difficult, I suppose, as well when you got football on the doorstep. But you are right. The marketing just needs to be better, doesn't it? I think definitely.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The football are just doing us with marketing, isn't it?
They are. The streets ahead,
absolutely hammering us with their approach to it, like the women and the men's game.
So we're pretty much getting a kick in left, right, and centre of football. Marketing's not great, but then you look at the Dragons game on like this weekend, and you look at the atmosphere coming out of the sheds, and you look at everything on social media, and it's like they've suffered amnesia. It's like the last 500 odd days just doesn't exist. We've won a game, so fuck it.
It's amazing. It's amazing what Wing can do, isn't it? That's the difference. Rodney Parade is buzzing now, and okay, we don't get big crowds. We only average around 4,000 odd. I was actually disappointed with the crowd against the Sharks because I thought it would have been a little bit more. But the atmosphere was terrific. I won't lie. It was really, really good. And the past couple of weeks has been fantastic. And it does make me think, if only Rodney Parade was full, if we had 8,000 there, the noise we can make. And I'm going to be biased, I know, but I don't think it'll be beaten. Honestly, I think when that ground is full and it's rocking, Rodney Parade is the best for atmosphere. You all disagree with me, I know, and I don't care. So.
No, I don't disagree. I always watch that.
This is like a bad joke, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think, Rodney Parade, it's one of the better stadiums. It's not a huge capacity, but I think you get that, like you said, you get that crowd there. I think it will explode.
Stadium.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it will completely explode. Like I wish, like the Ospreys were playing in the Knoll because it would be full every week. You know, but Cardiff, like they got a good crowd every week. They got a decent stadium. Like Scarlets aren't going to get 15,000 people in there every game. Well, they don't.
No.
You know, they might get it for the Christmas derby, and they might get it if they get to the second round of the European Cup or whatever. But that's it. We need to come back to the roots, like say, back to the grounds like the Dragons. Because when I listen to them, I'm hearing that crowd all the time. Like, oh, I wish I was at that game. You know, and that's from an Osprey supporter. I've never been to Rodney Parade, and it's on the cards. Now I'm back home in Cardiff,
come down for the derby. Derby soon.
Absolutely.
Come down.
If I'm not working,
it's on a Sunday, but get down there. Yeah, good atmosphere.
That's why I'll take the Monday off.
You can stand there with your Osprey shirt on, and Jamie can lob bottles at you and just go, here you go, son.
I'm in the posh end. I am. I'm in the Bisley. I'm in the prawn sandwich bit. So I'm away from the riffraff on the terrace.
Yeah, keep it away from them. No, I think that what you could feel through the telly is it felt like it was a bigger ground. And I know the thing with Rodney Parade is how close the fans are to the players, you know, but it felt like there was 10,000 people there. That was the noise that was coming from there, you know. And I think a lot of it is kind of that pent up frustration, and you know, there's been a couple of false starts that, you know, this is it, okay, and then the next week you get a bit of a tonking again. But it genuinely felt like this week you were 1 point away from, you know, backing up that win from the week before, and actually the performance, I thought this week was probably better. You know, I thought
it was solid, absolutely solid. The aggression was there. They were fronted up, and there were some huge units in the South African team. They're absolutely beasts of men.
They're massive.
And I thought the Dragons were bloody superb, and I was gutted. You know, they missed the kick at that penalty at the end as well, just before the Lions. No, the Bulls, wasn't it? Yeah, before.
No, it was the Sharks.
The Sharks. Sorry, before the Sharks scored.
You're drinking tea, Carwyn. You're drinking a cup of tea, man. I mean, come on. The rest of us have got an excuse.
In the league, all right? Right. But I thought they were fantastic, and I'm gutted they lost, because I do like watching the Dragons, and I have done for a long time. I've always thought, come on, you're going to get the win today. It's coming. And they've always fallen short. But I just think there seems to be a bit more grit there at the moment. I think they've got a cracking pack of forwards. And the backs are really starting to show, and they're playing like a team.
Yeah. Will Rowland's is superb, isn't he? Yeah, absolutely. To be fair to the boys, I mean, there's been a lot of turmoil with this whole Dean Ryan stuff, and I gotta say, I do really feel for Dave Flanagan, because he's been chucked into the deep end a little bit. You know, before the Munster game, he was having Lauren Jenkins from Scrum 5 just constantly grilling him, and he couldn't say anything because he's not in a position to. You know, and I felt that David Buttress or somebody from the Dragons hierarchy really should have fronted up, because I did feel sorry for him. And I don't know what he's doing, but he's getting a tune out to the boys. They're playing for him. That's the difference. There was all the murmurings coming out about Dean Ryan. I don't think the players were playing for him. I heard all sorts of stories, but Dyer's doing a great job. And to be fair, those past 2 weeks, I haven't seen Dragons play with that amount of intensity for a very long time. I mean, the pack was solid. And we're talking about Munster and Sharks here now, mind. You know, we're not talking Connacht or Benetton. These are two big, powerful teams, and the boys have fronted up, and fair play to them. I'm really proud of the performances. And I am gutted about the result. We should have won it. You know, there was two key moments in that game where we lost it. You know, it was
they can only go forward.
Ryan interception. And Will Reid, I know a lot has been said about Will Reid missing that penalty, but for me, the interception was where we lost the game, because it really took the wind out of our sails, and you felt it as well in the ground. The crowd started to get a bit nervy, and I just wish we'd kept it a bit tighter in our last quarter. I thought we tried to play a little bit too much rugby, where all we needed to do was, you know, we had I think it was 19-6 at one point. We just needed to keep it tight, and I felt we just tried to play a little bit too much rugby. And I think that interception try, it was a shame, because Angus O'Brien has been fantastic. I gotta say, since he's come back from the Scarlets, he's been really, really good for us. And it was a sucker punch, and it killed us, I think. But I'm proud of the boys, I've got to say.
I think if the Dragons can keep to this level that they're playing now for the last couple of games, that's got to be their starting point. They can now kick off and improve on that week on week. They're tough to beat. They're out of the Welsh regions now. They're second out of the Welsh regions. And just look at the league today. I mean, I know we're only a few games in there, but normally the Dragons are at the foot of the table. Yeah.
And that's the question, like, can we keep it up? Can we keep going? I mean, we're going to go to Benetton now this week, and Dave Flanagan has talked about making changes. So you do wonder, like, how many changes you're going to make? How much is that going to, disrupt the flow and the momentum? I still think we're probably a tidy side. I like to see players like, Rob Evans get a start. Max Clark, I think he needs game time.
Yeah.
But, I'm not really optimistic about this weekend. But like you said, we got to keep playing with that momentum and that physicality and intensity, But but it's very encouraging. I don't mind losing. I'm used to it. I'm a Dragons fan, right? But you can see the difference is this time, though. You can see that there's progress being made and there's green shoots. That's the key for me. I just want to see progress, and I think we have.
There seems to be more foundation there than before, isn't it? Like, because you've been playing some decent rugby for season upon season, haven't you? Like, and every now and again you go, "Oh, look, this could be the Dragon season," and now there's a bit more substance about it.
Yeah, but fair play to Di. I say I think you did a good job.
Just hope there's no hole in the condom and they ain't shooting too soon,
That's one way to describe it. Yeah.
But then, Cardiff, that's exactly the same place Cardiff were in after the Munster game. Rhys, it was like, this is it. This is our season. Here we go. And now,
like I said in one of the other podcasts, didn't I? Like at the end of last season, I said, "That's it. No more season tickets. That's it. I can't afford to come and watch this pile of rubbish and stuff like that." And as the summer went on, it was just like, "Oh, it's time to Manny. Oh, go on then. Yeah, blind optimism kicked in, isn't it?" And then the first game, I thought, "This is us. This is our season." And it's back to normal.
What I would say about the Dragons win over Munster, and I'm not having a dig. Well, I kind of am actually.
Yeah.
That was.
Be honest, I can say.
He's got his feet under the table now.
Dragons to win, and I'm feeling confident. No, that was the full strength of the fully loaded Munster team. Cardiff did not play that. They had Omani there, they had Zebo. They had Klein, they had Tagbird. I'm sorry, Cardiff won, and you play what's in front of you, but that's what made the Dragons win over Munster. That was a fully loaded, Munster side.
And we were talking about it last week, isn't it? The Dragons winger, Thaya?
Rio Dyer.
Absolutely making Zebo look like he wasn't there. Like, Jimmy, not just a try, but all through the game, he was just doing him on the outside. I know Zebo's getting on a bit now, but still, that was the
he's got unbelievable pace. He's got unbelievable pace, Rio Dyer. Yes, really quick.
I know Jamie's giving you grief there as a Dragons fan, Cardiff, and I totally expect it. But I mean, look at the shirt he's wearing. It's blue and black stripes there.
I know. I did pick up on that at the start. I was looking at this.
I got to be fair.
Blue and black now.
First weekend, and Jamie's really
sticking. You're the decent blue and black side, yes.
Yeah.
First opportunity, and Jamie's getting a dig in against Cardiff, so it's like, but he feels it.
Well, they have to. When else am I going to do it? Dragons are playing well. I've got to do it now before we turn to shit.
Absolutely. A long season.
Speaking of lucky bastards and shit teams, let's have a chat about the Ospreys game then for the weekend. So, go on, Carwyn. This is yours, mate. Talk us through it inch by inch.
Unfortunately, I was in work for the game, and I had to catch up on teletext while it was going on. On BBC.
Teletext. In the 90s, so we know teletext.
I've just been watching on Scrum 5.
I'm sure what I'm more impressed with the fact you've got teletext. So.
It's one of these smart apps. But no, I just watched it on Scrum 5, and Jesus, Keelan Giles, he's got some wheels on him, isn't he?
Absolutely.
But there was a couple of things there, like, Owen Watkin trademark rips out the tackle as well. I thought they defended well. Again, there was another point, and I only noticed it tonight, where Webb, now people are saying, he played well. Now, so obviously I haven't seen the whole game. At this point, they passing the ball up the back of the scrum, and he dropped the damn thing again. And the ball got turned over. I don't know what he's up to. But the pack fronted up. They were very mobile. They were solid. The defence was there. And yeah, Glasgow scored a couple of tries at the end, but the game was over, completely over.
Your back three, just Keenan, Giles, Nagy, and North. They were.
Yeah, but it's the first time we've had a bonus point tries against the top team for a while, and I think we did it with a bit of ease. I know we the first game of the season we drew the Scarlets. That could have gone either way.
Depends on the referee.
And then, and the game last week, we should have beaten the Lions there last week, without a shadow of a doubt. And that's not being biased. I think it was a game we just let go. I think, in a similar way to Cardiff, we were sort of running out of ideas towards the end of the game, But I think the win now against Glasgow, who did they? They stuffed Cardiff. Don't mean to be derogatory, but they stuffed Cardiff. And did the Dragons play? Did you play?
No, we haven't played the Lions yet. No.
Glasgow. Did you play Glasgow yet?
No, we got stuffed in Edinburgh first week.
Edinburgh. Sorry, okay.
That's when Dean Ryan went mad, didn't he?
Yeah, but Edinburgh were playing well. I saw Edinburgh just lost out in South Africa now this weekend as well. But I think Toby Booth has put the building blocks and foundation. This is his third season now. Same with the Dragons, new coach again, and they're starting. But I think he's instilled the values, the team, and the sportsmanship, the team. There's no iron team, and he's saying, "Come on, guys, now work hard, get in, get stuck in." And their defence, that's won us the game. There's the flashy boys doing the quick stuff, the flash stuff at the back there. And I thought Jack Walsh, he's like duck to water in Wales for the Ospreys. I think he's an absolutely fantastic signing for us. And we haven't made many over the season.
He's only young, isn't he? He's only like about 21,
he's a 22-year-old. Yeah, absolutely. Like and he's playing like a seasoned professional. And it's good to see, North out there playing. Hope we cut back soon. But I missed what happened to Anscombe. So there's a bit of a cheap shot on him.
Yeah, I've seen that. So there was a big fuss on social media about it, where Rhys comes in and basically just belts him one from behind, from what I can see. I didn't see it in the game, and I'll be honest, it was an Ospreys game, so I was doing my knitting at the same time, so I wasn't necessarily watching all of the Ospreys game, but it looks, from what I can see, that he was kind of tackled and somebody comes in behind him and just like a proper old style ref's not looking, wallop, have one of them. Yeah. But then again, that's what your TMO is for. Surely somebody should be picking that up and going, right, let's have a look at it.
Well, touch judge should have had it. Don't need a TMO for that. Touch judge should have been all over it. But like at the end of the day, we are the top Welsh region at the moment. Yeah. 3 games in, we got a tough game coming up, Ulster, up in the Kingspan. Now, I think that'll be a tough game. If we win that, I'll be extremely happy.
And they're coming off a loss, aren't they?
Yeah, they lost to Leinster. Yeah. Good game as well.
Leinster, yeah. But to go up to the Kingspan, I mean, it's a fortress up there. It really is a great place to be, great atmosphere. But I think that'll be a tough game. If we win that, roll on.
So half an hour gone in the Ospreys Glasgow game, and the score was still 0-0. So it was.
They were playing touchy-feely, They were finding each other out. Getting used to the ref. Like you said, you got this thing with refs now, Lee. So I thought we're just getting used to the ref there, feeling that was right, and then it clicked. Bang.
I think when it clicked, all right. One of Giles's was a little bit of luck to put him in space, but then he absolutely made the most of it. And his second try I thought was fantastic, and I wouldn't be surprised. Up until last week, I thought Combe pretty much had the slot in the squad. The Welsh squad sorted. Now, Dyer, Keelan Giles, there's a lot of competition there, and there was competition there before, So yeah, I still think the one position that we're weak on in Wales is 13. I don't think George North is a 13. I think he copes there. I think he's okay because he's a good player. He's a good 14, but he's not a 13. And I can't see anybody really putting their hands up and going, that's my position now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's nobody outstanding going, I'm having a game after game after game. You look at Llewellyn at Cardiff, has had like 3 pretty solid games so far. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets called in. I said Keelan Giles, Dyer, I wouldn't be surprised if they get a call up. I just can't see anyone at 13 anyway. Well, that's outstanding.
I don't know. The thing is, they're always shifting people about. But you got Tompkins there. I think he'd make a crack in 13. We forget about the boys across the border who are still playing for us. I think he'd be an excellent player. I think he's solid. He's got a good pass on him. And he won't let anyone down in the 13 channel.
Well, then if you move him out of 12, who are you going to put in at 12?
Well, that's it. I mean, that's what you're looking at your second receiver, isn't it? Would you move bigger to 12? There's plenty of young fly halves, cracking fly halves around. Would you put him at 12? Would you put Costello at 10? Would you put Yoan Lloyd at 10? Maybe Jared Evans? No, maybe not. Maybe obviously Anscombe.
Not at the moment off form now, isn't he, Jared? Last season he was hitting the heights, I think, isn't it? For what I've seen this season so far,
we got Halaholo as well. Halaholo as well. We forget about Halaholo. He needs to run the games now to get fit. He's got excellent footwork. But going back to Owen Watkin, what Carwyn was saying, I don't know about you guys. I think he's one of the most underrated players in Wales. I really like Owen Watkin, and I don't know why he hasn't had the opportunity, enough opportunities for Wales. I don't understand it because I think he's solid in defence. His ball ripping skills are brilliant. I just wish he had
coming of Andrew Bishop. But he's the second coming of Andrew Bishop. He's solid. No,
he's not flashy at all. He doesn't get headlines, but he's really dependable. I am a big fan of Owen Watkin, and I would like to see him get more caps for Wales, actually. But
he's solid.
You are right. Centre's a problem.
He is. He won't let anyone down.
He's had some good games for Wales as well, isn't he? Owen Watkin?
He has,
in recent times as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll be picking our squads next week, isn't that right, Lee?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. There's got to be. It can't be far off from naming the rumours around who's in the squad and who's out of the squad are kind of coming up now. So
week after he's picking the squad, I reckon.
Well, I think we need to do him a favour and give him the benefit of our advice. Because obviously, we know the boys at the top are listening to what we say. So I think that's the job for next week, is to have a go through and let's pick our is it 30-man squad? How many do they pick now? 30, 35? We'll pick a squad next week.
Not sure.
And just for the hell of it, more than anything, especially if the Ospreys win. If the Ospreys win again on the weekend, fucking Carwyn's going to be intolerable next week, boys. So we'll distract him and we'll go, right, we're going to talk about Wales instead of the Ospreys because, that would just be too much.
Crashed again.
He's gone again, isn't he?
Yeah, I've gone again, yeah.
Are you doing it, Lee? Just pressing the eject.
He'd been gone a long fucking time ago if it was up to me, mate. Right, hang on. He's back there. Right.
Here he comes. Right, Carwyn.
Oh, fucking load of shite.
When they broke into your garage, did they break in and nick the fucking router or something?
Before I forget, you keep on going. It's the RAP and it's the Welsh Rugby Region something podcast. It's the Welsh Rugby Regional Appreciation podcast.
Oh,
very good.
Oh, yeah. Right. I was going to say argumentative, but appreciation. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, we might take that.
There we go. So what have I missed while you?
Oh, we were slagging off the Ospreys.
30 seconds. Oh, that's fine.
Just slagging you off to it, slagging you all off to it.
I don't know what, Leslie.
I said you're a nice bloke. I didn't even slag you all off. I said you're a nice bloke, but.
Maybe next week then we'll have a look at the our predictions for the Welsh squad for the autumn internationals. So one other bit that popped up in the news this week, and it kind of popped up and then it disappeared, and I haven't seen anything about it since. So have you seen this thing that the WRU and the regions still can't agree on a funding formula for next year?
Yeah.
So
last 30 years.
But
it's an absolute joke, isn't it? You know,
it's ridiculous. But we're in a position now, right, where we all know what's going on with the English Premiership, and the English Premiership boys are already signing for next year because they know what they're getting next year. They know what their limit is next year, and they know what their limit is the year after. So they've got a 2-year plan of they know roughly, give or take, this is what the budget's going to be next year. Now, if we're going to release players, and I think Scarlets, we've got about 12 or 13 players at the end of contract at the end of this season. Some of them are big boys. Some of them I know are going home already. But that's between us, don't let anybody else know. I know there's a couple of them are going, okay, I don't want another contract. I'm going elsewhere. So there's 2 bits to that. There's one, there's going to be players there that are going to be released. And if they're going to be released, they need to be aware of that when other sides are looking for players. There's no point telling players, the other side of Christmas that, you're going to be released at the end of the year, because all the potential employers, they're doing that business now. Do you know what I mean? Between now and Christmas is when sides are nailing down their contracts for next year. So we're in this position again where the WRU are finding a way of shooting us in the foot again for next season.
Well, this is why the Dragons are doing so well, because they're owned by the WRU. They signed so many players at the beginning of the season.
You've got the smallest budget, thank you. I remind you, we still have the smallest playing budget.
They all work as waiters in the Millennium Stadium. That's what it is. Right. They've all got side jobs as waiters, corporate. No, it's ridiculous to say to these, and we wonder why, players, and it's not an excuse for what Cardiff players did on the weekend. We wonder why players are frustrated and pissed off and all of this kind of stuff. And then you look at the environment that they're in. We can talk about being professional, but they're still human. They're still human beings. Yeah. If we took our jobs and we said, you're not allowed to leave until the end of this year, and we're not going to tell you if you've got a job until that deadline for you to apply somewhere else goes. Do you know what I mean? It's not fair on the players. You can't manage it as a club, and it must be affecting the players. There's a couple of players who said in the press, this is what we talk about in training. Who's got a next contract? Who's got a contract coming up? Are you staying? Are you going? What are you doing? You can't run a club like that. No,
absolutely.
So, and moaning about the WRU is a bit of a pastime of mine, but sometimes
leave that to Twitter.
Everybody here loves the game of rugby, isn't it? And was reared on it and stuff like that. And when we say about we were just talking earlier about the Dragons having a win and some of the crowd coming back and the sort of environments of Rodney Parade, changing, palpably. But that game has only so much. It's got a limited amount of goodwill, isn't it? And as poorly as the game has been managed over decades, and that's the whole thing that we touched on today, officiating, tinkering with the game, tinkering what we've just been talking about players being paid next season and what have you. The worst case scenario is the game in Wales goes into terminal decline, isn't it? With other sports already stealing matches on us, and that's the worst case scenario, isn't it? Dwindling crowds will continue to dwindle until there's nobody left watching. Now, do you mean so? They need to change at the top, isn't it? We need a revolution in the WRU, isn't it? Bringing proper professional sort of businessmen. That can run, a CEO.
You're quite right, and we're in October now, and the Welsh clubs still don't know what their playing budget is going to be. We're in October, and it's peak Welsh rugby, isn't it? There's always been this uncertainty over budgets and funding, And it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I think we can all agree that the governance just isn't fit for purpose. I think there's big question marks over Steve Phillips and Rob Butcher. Are they, do they cut the mustard? I don't think they do, personally. We got the community clubs running the pro game. We need that separation, don't we? But only in Wales, isn't it? Like, where else would you see village clubs having a say in the professional game? It's utter nonsense, and it's got to stop. There needs to be complete reform of the governance of the WRU. But turkeys are not going to vote for Christmas, are they? So what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it?
I think that's the problem, isn't it? Is there's no until somebody inside the union is brave enough to stand up and say, all right, actually, this is a problem now, and we've got to do something about it. There isn't going to be that shake-up. If it was going to happen, it would have happened already. And when you see, one of the other podcasts I run for local rugby in Pembrokeshire, and you go through the fixtures, and for the first couple of weeks of the season, you're not sure who's actually going to turn up. You're not sure whether, are they going to actually have a side this week? And last week was, so we're fourth week into the season. Well, yeah, three league games and one cup game. It was the first week where there was every single game played in Division 3, and you're like, it's taken 4 weeks to get a side together. And when we talk about building blocks and putting in stuff, that very, very lowest level, that's where all the stuff starts building on. And I agree, those guys that are down there, they face a very, very different challenge to the likes of the Scarlets and the Ospreys, Dragons and Cardiff, but that's the building blocks that they start on. So I think there's got to be a connection between the two. Something's got to...
Not governance and dominance of the, because like when Butcher took his job, I remember a quote of somebody saying that, he's been a good servant and it's just his turn. There should be no talk about people's turns, in a professional era game. Like, there should be CEOs at top. Well, you're saying about developing the grassroots side and stuff like that, isn't it? To make sure that there is teams coming in every week, there is youth rugby feeding up to the top and stuff like that. And I completely agree with that and stuff like that. But the professional game needs to be run by professionals, doesn't
Absolutely.
it? I think that's the point we're making.
Yeah.
But some of the local sides around by me and Carwyn now. I mean, I can think of Llandaff North. I played for Llandaff North, and it was 3 sides and a vet side. And every time I turned up, all those sides had the 23. And then training, there was at least 40 players. And then a couple of seasons later, they were struggling for one side. So what they've done, them, Whitchurch, and a lot of local sides around this area, is really just thrown loads of money into mini rugby. And
it's huge.
Coming into fruition now. Like my youngest daughter played for Whitchurch, like a mixed side sort of thing, tag rugby, when she was really diddy. You mean? And they're just trying to bring through those players now from the youngest age and what have you, which is the approach to take, isn't it?
Well, that's it. It's like my boy now, he's playing for Rugby Kiddies there, down in Pontcanna, and there's hundreds of kids down there on a Sunday. And it's fantastic to see. It's absolutely fantastic to see. Just watching them all come up through those little ages that start with the tag rugby, and on the other pitches they're playing full contact around them, so they get to see it as well and see what it's all about.
We've got to be giving these kids something to go into and something to aim for. Most kids drop out between 14 and 18. They'll play until you get to that 14 to 18 bit where it starts to get a bit serious, and it starts to, you start to have county selection, this, that, and the other, and we're losing a massive chunk of players and supporters, because most supporters are players. We've all played at some point. So, but this is, I guess, this is what we're saying about the WRU. They're not sitting there looking at that. They're not sitting there. They're not focusing entirely on the professional game. They're not focusing entirely on the community game. What the hell are they doing? Because they sure as shit ain't looking at rugby.
No.
Anyway, that's I know that's just going to go nuts on social media. Something's going to come out over the next couple of weeks, and it's just going to blow up, and we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot again 12 months before a World Cup. And we'll be saying it'll be like being in the 80s, only without Kevin Phillips lamping some guy for serving in the wrong type of wine. But
thing is, we're always so negative in Wales about the sport, and it's always the doldrums, whatever, rather than look at the positives. But Jamie mentioned turkeys there. How do we reckon? How many points do we reckon the Blues are going to carve up the Scarlets by? Next week.
He said the Blues again. He said he's not even drinking, and he said the Blues.
Oh, they won't like that on Twitter. You calling them Blues? They do not like that.
They do not
it's
like
Cardiff
that.
Only. No.
That's why nobody goes to the ground anymore to watch them, because they don't know which side they're watching. Are they watching Cardiff or the Blues? That's what the problem is.
They're the Cardiff Rugby's now.
Dragons aren't even a region anymore. They've gone back to being a rugby club. So, which I think is quite a good thing. I wouldn't say it was a bad thing, but come on, who's going to win? Scarlets or Cardiff?
I can't see us the way we played. I can see us. Well, if we run directly, we can just run through a few of those players. But it's a way, isn't it? Like it's
Scarlets. Yeah,
I'm hoping so because I bought my ticket.
It is Park Scarlets.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a Scarlet victory.
Hey, good man. You're my favourite, you are.
Because I've been wrong on every game so far.
You get to 10 o'clock on a Friday night and you go, Rhys is wrong again.
Yeah. Well, I think Cardiff are going to beat the Scarlets just because after the week they've had, I think they need to bounce back from it. I think they're going to win by about 4 points.
I think you're talking shit again.
I'm just saying it because I can't stand the fucking Scarlets.
I think we're going to bring. I think we'll bring Costello back in. We lost Johnny Williams with a really nasty knee injury, so he's out for the autumn series as well. But Costello back in. I think Scott Williams might be ready to come back at inside centre, and I genuinely think we need to drop John Davis.
You hear that here first, ladies and gentlemen?
I just do. But no, I think we'll scrape it, but I think it'll be a high-scoring game because neither of us seems capable of tackling shit at the minute. So, I think it'll be a high-scoring, interesting, exciting game. But I think we'll win that one. So, how much do we think Ulster's going to hammer the Ospreys by?
You asking me or anyone else?
Well, let's ask everybody else first how much Ulster are going to beat the Ospreys by, and then we'll ask you for your opinion.
I think it's too much of an ask of. I'm always a negative one to win at Ulster, so I'm going to say it's going to be an Ulster victory. But
it's a very tough place to go. In fairness,
it is.
It's a very tough place to go.
I can't see an Ospreys win.
Unfortunately. Yeah, they are.
All right. I think if we put a strong team out, get Webb on the bench rather than starting, I think Ospreys have got a chance of winning by a very small margin. That's my heart. My head says Ulster win by about 5 points.
And I think we put 5 tries on Ulster, mate. So they're beatable. And you, at the minute, your defence is holding up quite strong. You just, if you can get the ball into the right place, you might sneak it. I don't think you will. I'm going to go for an Ulster win, but I wouldn't be shocked if Ospreys came away with a win there.
No, and it'd be great. It'd be great if they do. Obviously, I support it, but I think for Welsh rugby as well.
Yeah, losing bonus point that should be a good result. I think actually for Ospreys, you come away with something. They say Kingsman's very tough place to go, but come back with a losing bonus point. I actually think that'll be pretty decent.
Okay. And I think the Dragons are going to beat Benetton.
I don't see.
Look, this is your negative attitude from the last few years. I think if you go out there and play with the spirit and the tenacity you have for the last couple of games, I think you're going to beat them bastards. Hang on. I think there's someone at the back. I'll be back now.
Okay.
Oh, bit of drama at the end of the podcast.
That's a bit insane, isn't it? Yeah, I think I don't know. I think it's going to be another tight game. and I think it's one that could go either way. Benetton on their home patch, but then I say Benetton they're all talking about certain players need a rest. Dragons are talking about rotation and things, and so you never really know who's going to turn up. But
for me, I'd have to see the team sheet. I think I want to see who Dragons are going to pick because, like I said, Dave Flan has talked about making changes. How many is he going to make? I don't expect Will Rowlands to be playing. I don't expect players like Theo Thompson to be playing. And Benetton, they're a very good team. They're very different proposition at home. I mean, just ask Cardiff. They got absolutely slaughtered there last season, didn't they? And Scarlets have gone there and come a cropper. They're no mugs anymore, Benetton. In fairness, they're a very good team. Oh, no, I mean, years ago, it was the Italians with Zebra and Benetton, like you said, were bankers. You could go play them at home away, you can come away with a win, but it's Benetton. And let's not forget, they are current Rainbow Cup champions, isn't they? In fairness to them. They are, and they'll always be Rainbow Cup champions. But no, I'm not confident about this one, so I'm going to go for Benetton by about 7 points.
There's the true dragon in you coming out again.
Dragons by 9.
That would be too 9. Much. I'm
back to reality now.
Yeah.
Back to reality.
I'm going to go for a Dragons win. I do think.
Why?
Because it's a kiss of death. If me and Rhys are predicting a win, you guys are fucked. It's as simple as that.
We haven't been very good.
Yeah.
We said this podcast will become famous for not what to guess.
There are people waiting to put their bets on for the weekend going, well, what did Rhys say? Right, let's go the other way.
So National Lottery isn't employing the next Mystic Meg, I tell you that.
Yeah.
Listen, lads, I've got to head off, so I'm getting down there now.
All right, mate, speak here.
I'll speak to you next.
We might edit that last bit out.
Yeah. You do it so well.
You'd be better.
Jesus Christ.
These boys, man.
Yeah. Right, gents, it's been a pleasure as always. We will do it again next week, and have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Catch up next week, gents.
All the best, boys.
Take care.
All the best, Jamie. Cheers.
Bye.
Ta-ra.
Thank you for listening to this week's show. We'd love to have you involved in next week, so you can email your comments to welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com, or you can message us on Twitter on our handle, WRRA Podcast. And if you like the show, please subscribe and tell your mates. Until next week, dear friends, enjoy your game.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.